Hello, everyone. Just want to talk tonight about two things which you can try, which are part of mindfulness. We often have this idea, we think about the past, we think about the future, and we don't live in the present. And the present is where you always are. And there's a lot of traditions like Buddhism, the idea of Zen, living in the present, trying to appreciate what you're doing now rather than dwelling on things or looking forward to things or worrying about things. It's good to look forward to things to a degree. We don't want to live in the present all the time, but we want to spend as much good time there as possible. And that often means just noticing things as you're doing them, which might mean that you can stop and just take 5 breaths in and out, 5 breaths without thinking about anything else, and just go, there's the breath. It also stops you worrying about things and breaks that negative cycle. Another thing you can do is the 5 senses. So it can be thinking to yourself. This is often used by people to ground themselves. For example, if they've got problems with panic attacks, anxiety, whatever, you're not looking forward to something, you're stressed. And you go, right, what can I see? I can see family photograph on the wall. That's a nice thing. What can I feel? I can feel the soft chair behind me. What can I smell? I think I can smell the legacy of coffee from earlier on, which is a nice smell. What can I taste? Toothpaste, just clean my teeth. And what can I hear? I can hear the boilers just started rumbling just to my right. And it's just about being aware of what's going on around you. And it just breaks negative cycles and stops that negative internal dialogue, that stream of consciousness, that internal bully, which has far too much power. Where you are, those thoughts and those interpretations you get, you're in control of them. And sometimes you feel like you're not, and it's very easy to interpret them negatively, but you can also interpret them positively, and it's about practice. You see people who are like that. You see people who go through terrible things and they're very, very positive, and we can't all be positive all the time. And we are naturally negative thinking because it helped us in terms of evolution, like what's going on here, the cautious people were more likely to survive. But let it work for you rather than against you. We don't have to worry about saber-toothed tigers. Yeah, we have to pay the bills, we worry about things. But I think it was Mark Twain who said that some of the most terrible things in my life never actually happened. And he kind of was alluding to the idea that we spend so much time worrying about what might happen, that we just lead the mind down these negative feelings. We know, like, people who are positive are more likely to recover from serious illness. We know people who, you see those people who don't let things get to them. You just live in each day like a mindfulness. It can be hard, to develop those skills because it is a skill. It might be genetic. You might have been through adverse childhood experiences. You might be someone with a diagnosed mental illness and you think, well, this is what I'm like. I can't change the way I think. But you can because of neuroplasticity. We know this now because the science tells us that we can always get better. So when something happens, what's your first gut interpretation? Where are you? Are you there at that moment? You're dwelling on, this is typical. I'm always doing this. You're dwelling on negatives. Or are you there in that moment actually living, interpreting things and saying, right, what's the best solution? How can I move forward? What do I do now? And sometimes it just means breathing, 5 breaths in and out. Just sit and notice it, observe it. Use your 5 senses and just break that negative cycle. Thanks.